Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I really would like to finish up chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita today. So let's begin with the verse in the Gita Dhyanam that we've been chanting, the one about the cows and the milk. So it's in this file. I don't know. It's Gita. The file is named Gita Dhyanam, and we're just going to chant number 4. Om Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsaha Sudhir Bhokta Dugdhan Gitamritam Mahat Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdhang Gitamritam Mahat. I went towards a melody that was in my head, and it's not one that we've been doing the other verses with, but it seems to work. And also, I don't know if you noticed, but in the second line, Partho Vatsaha Sudhir, I did it differently. The first time I went Partho Vatsaha Sudhir Bhokta. And then the second time, I changed that visarga at the end of Vatsaha. So I went Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta. I think the preferred way is to change the visarga. But I had heard, before learning Vedic chant, I had heard it so many times. Vatsaha Sudhir, not this particular verse, but other verses from the Bhagavad Gita. So I think you can choose which way you want to do it. Certainly, if we need to take a breath, we just chant the Visarga as we see it. Partho Vatsaha Sudhir Bhokta. Or if you don't take a breath, Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta. Does that make sense to people? But I think you can choose which way you'd like to do that. Do you have any questions or desires or commentary on what we just chanted before we move into the actual verse 2? Excuse me, chapter 2. All the Upanishads are the cows. The milker is Krishna, the cowherd boy. Partha is the calf. Men and women of purified intellect are the drinkers, and the milk is the supreme nectar of the Gita. So Lisa, we did a lot while you were attending to turtles. Maybe we should chant that verse about the kurma. We'll do that after we finish the chapter, maybe. Okay. So can you help me refresh my memory? Did we go through verse number 68 last week?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we ended it. We did not do 69 yet because we were saving that because you like that verse, don't you?
Yeah. I hope it's not a letdown. So let's all chant from 68. We'll just chant the verse once and then we'll move to 69. Om Tasmad Yasya Mahabaho Nigrahitani Sarvashaha Indriyani Indriyarthebhyas Tasya Prajna Pratishtita. So now we'll move to 69. Om Yanisha Sarva Bhutanam Tasyan Jagarti Sanyami Yasyan Jagrati Bhutani Sanisha Pashyato Mune. Now we'll do 2 lines at a time. So I'll go through the first 2 lines twice. Om Yanisha Sarva Bhutanam Tasyan Jagarti Sanyami. Before we repeat that, at the end of the second line, the anusvara, the sum, needs to change to the nasal sound that occurs in the soft palate, in the back of the mouth, but in front of the throat. So it's tasya, both times. Actually, there are 2 of them. Tasyan jagarti sanyami. So both times we have that anusvara. The nasal sound is in the back where the soft palate is, so that it merges with the ja and then with the ya. So we'll repeat the first 2 lines and then go on to the second 2 lines. Om Yanisha Sarva Bhutanam Tasyan Jagarti Sanyami. Moving on. Yasyan Jagrati Bhutani Sanisha Pashyato Mune. Again, at the end of yasyam, it's yasyan, the same mouth position preceding jagrati. One more time. Yasyan jagrati bhutani sanisha pashyato mune. Let's now chant that entire verse twice through. Om Ya Nisha Sarvabhutanam Tasyan Jagarti Sanyami Yasyan Jagrati Bhutani Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehe Ya Nisha Sarvabhutanam Tasyan Jagarti Sanyami Yasyan Jagrati Bhutani Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehe. Are you ready for verse 70? Okay, Patty has her thumbs up. Everybody else? If not, let me know and we can repeat 69 or any part of it. Now 70, there's an asterisk beside it because it's in a different meter. This is the Trishtub meter, which means each line contains 11 syllables. And it sounds like this. Om Apuryamanam Achala Pratishtham Samudramapaha Pravishanti Yadvat Tadvat Kamayam Pravishanti Sarve Sashanti Mapnoti Nakamakami. So we'll take that 2 lines at a time. And anyone who is familiar with other chants that we do, like Karpura Gauram, Karunavataram, it's the same idea, same 11 syllables per line. So 2 lines at a time. Om Apuryamanam Achala Pratishtham Samudramapaha Pravishanti Yadvat. Again. Apuryamanam Achala Pratishtham Samudramapaha Pravishanti Yadvat. Now, apaha is followed by pra, which begins at the lips. So I'm going to see if I can make that change. So make visarga be a blow through the lips instead. Samudramapa pravishanti yadvat. But if we do that, it has to be all in, it's better if it's all in one breath. All together, let's just do that second line. Samudramapa pravishanti yadvat. Let's move to the 3rd and 4th lines. Tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti nakamakami. Tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti nakamakami. So let's see what happens if we put all 4 of those lines together. We'll chant it twice through. Om Apuryamanam Achala Pratishtham Samudramapa Pravishanti Yadvat Tadvat Kamayam Pravishanti Sarve Sashanti Mapnoti Nakamakami. Again, I'm going to do it more softly so that you can drown me out, so you can hear your own voice better than mine. Om Apuryamanam Machala Pratishtham Samudramapa Pravishanti Yadvat Tadvat Kamayam Pravishanti Sarve Sashanti Mapnoti Nakamakami. Let's move on to verse 71. Vihaya kaman yas sarvan Umanshcharati nisprihaha Nirmamo nirahankaraha Sashanti madhigachati. Now I'll put Om in front of it and we'll do just the first two lines twice through. Om Vihaya kaman yas sarvan Pumanshcharati nisprihaha. Again. Vihaya kaman yas sarvan Pumanshcharati nisprihaha Nirmamo nirahankaraha Sashanti madhigachati. Nirmamo nirahankaraha Sashanti madhigachati. So now let's chant through all 4 lines twice through. Om Vihaya kaman yas sarvan Pumanshcharati nisprihaha Nirmamo nirahankaraha Sashanti madhigachati. Vihaya kaman yas sarvan Pumanshcharati nisprihaha Nirmamo nirahankaraha Sashanti madhigachati.
But Leslie,
Yes,
would you mind going over that second line again?
not at all. Pumanshcharati nisprihaha. I think it's easiest to make that change for that visarga at the end of nih instead of nih sprihaha. That would require a lot more effort than nisprihaha. So nisprihaha would be like ni followed by a double sa, and then nisprihaha. I think that's easier, provided we haven't run out of breath. Is that clear?
That's helpful. The other thing was, but where the first dash in that line is the sh and the ch. I think that feel that for me, and the nya, ch, that felt awkward. That's all.
Oh, yeah, we don't have to make it a nya sound. It's just if you can place the tongue at the soft palate, so it's the back of the tongue moving up, it gets that nasal sound, then is in the correct place for the S, which is a sh sound. So it's pumanshara, pumansh, pumanshcha, pumanshcha, pumanshcha.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm sure many a chanter has faked that. So, not to worry. Just, Can we chant through? Let's chant through. Did we do all 4 lines twice through? I can't remember. Let's chant through 71 one more time, and then we'll go on to 72. And everyone, just again, I want to remind you, encourage you, if you have anything to say or ask at all, just unmute yourself and shout out, and we'll hear you. Okay, so 71, one more time. Om Vihaya Kaman Yassarvan Pumanshcharati Nisprihaha Nirmamo Nirahankaraha Sashanti Madhigachati. And because we sometimes make a change in that, in our visarga at the end of the 3rd line, if you didn't want to take a breath, it could sound like this. Nirmamo nirahankara sashanti madhigachati. Did you hear what I did? So I changed that aha to a us so that it flows right into the sa. But I always need to take a breath at the end of the 3rd line. So verse 72, and that's the last official verse, really. And then we have the, the completion of the chapter. Om Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati Sthitva Syamanta Kalepi Brahma Nirvanam Richati. Going backwards, I just want to remind everybody that when we chant Brahma, and I've heard Edwin Bryant speak the name or the word Brahma, and when he does that, when he's in conversation, he says Brahma, exactly the way we see it spelled. But from Vedic chanting times, we've reversed the H and the M, so we will always chant it Brahma. Just like in another chant that we'll do, maybe not today, but in the new year, Brahmanandam Brahma, but it's always spelled with the H in front, just so you're aware of that. So if you need to make a mark in your pencil, just to remind yourself, habit just teaches me, I look at the word and I see it's Brahma. And in that same line, the beginning of the last word, Richati, that R with a dot under it, always the R with a dot under it is signifying a vowel. So that means there's no pause between nirvanam and Richati. The R is a vowel, and so the whole line sounds again like this. Brahma nirvanam richati, nirvanam richati. So you can either roll the tongue or not. With the tongue rolled, it's nirvanam richati. And with the tongue not rolled, it's nirvanam richati. But it has to blend, it has to flow. We'll do 2 lines at a time. Om Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati. Om Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati. Sthitva Snyamantakaalepi Brahma Nirvanam Richati. Sthitva Snyamantakaalepi Brahma Nirvanam Richati. And now we'll chant the entire verse twice through. Om Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati. Sthitva Snyamantakaalepi Brahma Nirvanam Richati. Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati. Sthitva Snyamantakaalepi Brahma Nirvanam Richati. And then, because it's the last verse of the chapter, we'll repeat the last line. Brahma Nirvam. I screwed it up. Brahma Nirvanam Richati. So it's like in bold, just to finish it off. And then sometimes we see a declaration that this is thus has been said, or thus has been revealed, the second chapter. Iti means thus. Iti also is a quotation. Whenever you see the word iti, it can mean a quotation, that something is quoted. And it's also at the end of whatever has been chanted. So in the beginning, you might encounter atha, just like in the Yoga Sutras, atha yoga nushasanam, and now. And then in the end, iti at the end of the chapter. So here, and I've got a translation here for you. In the Upanishad of the Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge of Brahman or Brahman, the supreme, the science of yoga, and the dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, this is the second discourse designated the yoga of knowledge. So just to chant it, because we have time to get a chance, it sounds like this. Iti Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyo Dhyayaha. So the melody you heard was just improvised by yours truly, and it comes from a memory of how Vyasa has done it. So I'd say you could do it any way you like.
Leslie,
Yes.
is it an Anishtub or a Trishtub, or is it something else?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if we count it. Iti Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishatsu. Iti Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishatsu. 12, 13, 14. 14 syllables per 9.
What tube is that?
But then we have Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. Then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Sankhya Yogo. That's 12. Every line has different number. So that's why we just chant the thing. Nama Dvitiyo Dhyayaha. That one was 3, 4, 5, 7. So let's see if I can commit to memory. So it just chant, just make it monotonal. And then every now and then we could go up in melody. Iti Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyo Dhyayaha. Just sound declarative. Just get the pronunciation right, and you can do any melody you like.
Can I ask a question about this Shri Krishna Arjuna? So is that, it's like Krishna and Arjuna together in one word.
Yes.
So what's that about?
Yeah, you're learning Sanskrit. Yes. So there's a rule. It's Shri Krishna Arjuna. So Krishna Arjuna, you have Krishna ending in the sound and Arjuna beginning with the sound So when you have two letters together where the final letter is of the first letter, first word, and the beginning letter is in the second word, instead of saying Krishna Arjuna, we blend those two ahs together into one long and we get Shri Krishna Arjuna. And we come to just know that we're talking about Krishna and Arjuna. And I guess the word "and" here is just understood.
Oh, so it's speaking to both of them, basically.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
or about both of them.
About both of them.
Samvade Sankhya Yogo.
Is it only with that A sound, or does it come with other vowels as well?
Oh my goodness, there is sandhi with every vowel. So for example, let's see, Arjuna Upanishad. Arjuna Upanishad would change to a followed by u. So the as the end of Arjuna, followed by U beginning Upanishad, it would be Arjunopanishad. Followed by U creates O. So O would be it.
English.
And if you study Om, you will learn it. If we go to the Mandukya Upanishad, that's one of the great ways in which we can learn Sanskrit grammar, is learning how the Mandukya Upanishad explains there are 4 states, supposedly. The state of awakeness, which is the dream state, which is U, the deep sleep state, which is and then the no sound state, which is the state of Brahman, the eternal. So becomes Om. So that sound is always known to be the result of followed by U. That's what comprises O.
What did you say the A sound stands for? Awareness?
Awake state.
Awake.
I have it here, Leslie.
Well, yay, enlightenment without God.
But it's also very long. It's very long, the Mandukya Upanishad. It's like there's like 3 pages on the A sound, and then there's another, the next like chapter is on the U sound, like the 4 aspects. So they go into each sound in like a page of description.
That's what they'll do. Yes, and there's
Pretty
another.
cool.
And there's another, Patrick Olivelle gives a good translation as well. And if you all are interested, here's where I would want your input. You can email me or Patty anytime, but I spent a long time teaching myself to chant that entire Upanishad, and I tried to memorize it. And at one point I memorized almost the whole thing. So if you ever would like to chant any part of that Upanishad, we can do that. And I've also learned some of that from Sonia, so it's transmittal, but it's not a terribly chantable Upanishad, but I find when you learn to chant something in Sanskrit, then the memory is there. Then you learn how to do that.
So is it Vedic, or do you just make it? It's a Vedic,
Well,
like you chant it one
Upanishad,
particular way?
we chant it according to the rules of Vedic chanting.
Okay.
We should do that because it comes before classical Sanskrit. It's really most of the Upanishads are from the period following the Vedas, called Vedanta, that time period. But with the Bhagavad Gita, we're with the classical period. So coming back to the Bhagavad Gita, let's go to the translation of them. I'm so spoiled when Bob Gilbo's here. It's such a treat because he's an expert on this. But we have to muddle along without him. Muddle. Okay, so I have Winthrop Sargent's here. So I'll 68, because we chanted it today, we'll start with that. So Tasmad yasya mahabaho nigrahitani sarvashaha indriyarthebhyaha tasya prajna pratishtita. Therefore, O Arjuna, the wisdom of him whose senses are withdrawn from the objects of the senses, that wisdom stands firm. And instead of moving on to the next verse, I think I'll just take out Graham Schweig's right now, and we'll go to that one while we're on that verse. I can find it. So Graham Schweig says, therefore, O mighty armed Mahabaho, whosoever has completely withdrawn the senses from the objects of the senses. So I withdraw my sense of taste from chocolate. The profound knowledge of such a person is firmly established. And then as Patty acknowledged, my favorite verses and many people's favorite verses. It's well known. 69. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyan jagarti sanyami yasyan jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. The man of restraint is awake in that which is night for all beings. So jagrati. So nisha, ya nisha sarva bhutana. Nisha means night. And jagrati or jagarti, the time of awakeness. Jagrati, being awake. And the time in which all beings are awake is night for the sage who sees. Graham Schweig says, during that which is night for all beings, the deeply meditative person is awake. During that time in which beings are awake, that is night for the insightful sage. And then moving on to the Trishtub meter, number 70, like the ocean which becomes filled yet remains unmoved and stands still. So samudram means ocean. As the waters enter that ocean, he whom all desire, or she whom all desires enter and who remains unmoved by all those desires, that person attains peace. Not so the man or woman who is full of desire. And then Mr. Schweig will say, continually being filled, the ocean remains unmoved and stands still, though waters enter into it. That person into whom all desires enter in this same way attains peace, not one who is desirous to fulfill such desires. I'm so glad that Bob pointed out that I think what Bob likes about Graham Schweig's translation is that he translates exactly in the same order, the word order, as Sanskrit. And Sanskrit phrases and sentences are not the same word order as the way we would structure it in English. So it's really special that he did that. The final verse, from this guy, Sargent. The man who abandons all desires acts free from longing, indifferent to possessions, free from egoticism, he attains peace. And Graham Schweig says, abandoning all selfish desires, a person moves through life free from worldly belongings, without the sense of mine. Nira-mama. That's the sense of mine. Nir negates, and then mama means mine. Without the sense of mine, without the notion of I am acting, that one attains peace. And then finally, 72. This is the divine state, Arjuna. Having attained this, he is not deluded. Fixed in it, even at the hour of death, he reaches the bliss of God. And Mr. Schweig, this is the state of the feminine energy of Brahman, O Partha. Wow. Having attained which one is not bewildered. Being established in this, even if only at the end of one's life, one reaches the nirvana of Brahman. And then there's a quote down here that Schweig offers. The feminine energy of Brahman translates the word Brahmi. So the long E ending indicates a feminine aspect, the feminine Brahman. Quite literally, it is the Shakti or female energy of Brahman. This word is most often taken as a neutered adjective in this verse. Brahman or Brahman, that's neuter. Brahmi would be feminine. However, this latter approach ignores the strong feminine presence in the verse. Wow. Expressed by three feminine gendered words, a pronoun, esha, and two nouns, brahmi and sthiti. So sthiti is also feminine, all found in the first quarter line. Note that the key word of this chapter, namely buddhi, discernment, is also feminine gendered. Thus, this chapter concludes that the state of Brahman's feminine energy supports the nature of the self's discernment. Women conquer all, yay. And then he goes on to say nirvana, literally blown out. That I didn't know. Nirvana, literally blown out, meaning the extinguishing of any worldly existence or experience whatsoever. A spiritual state found within the Brahman that entails a complete calming of the senses, often described as a state of serenity and peacefulness. And then he defines Brahman, supreme spiritual existence, the eternal ultimate reality or the whole of reality. This word is to be distinguished from the words Brahmin and Brahma. A Brahmin is a person of the priestly or educator class belonging to traditional Indian society, and its first instance is in the Bhagavad Gita 2:46. Brahma is of course, Brahma, the cosmic deity of creation. And he's referred to in Bhagavad Gita 8:16, whose counterpart is Shiva, the deity of cosmic transformation or dissolution. My goodness. Let's chant 69 and 70 together, because what I find so nice is the transition from the one shloka to the other. So that which is night, and then as the waters enter the ocean. Om Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam Tasyan Jagarti Sanyami Yasyan Jagrati Bhutani Sa Nisha Pashyato Mehe Apuryamanam Achala Pratishtham Samudramapaha Pravishanti Yadvat Tadvat Kamayam Pravishanti Sarve Sashanti mapnoti nakamakami. Again. Yanisha sarva bhutanan tasyan jagarti sanyami yasyan jagrati bhutani Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehe Apuryamanam Achala Pratishtham Samudramapa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashantimapnoti nakamakami. Do you have access to the file titled Dawning of the Inner Light? We just sent that. It's really, it looks long, but it's really a quite simple chant because the ending of each line gets repeated, the end of every line. This is considered to be a Vedic chant, and we learned it once with Sonia and Deborah a long time ago. So the translation is, I place within me you who is luminous, who makes the light, who finds the light, who shines and blazes, who appears in glittering flashes, who is aflame and shines in the sky, who is immortal and who, having great light, awakens and is awake. So if you have this handout, go to the very bottom at the end. And I don't know anything about the history of this chant, but and here's where, and maybe any of you who might have studied Buddhism or have an extensive study of any aspect of Indic studies, the second to the last line, Bodhayantin. Well, first of all, before we go there, the twa sadayami. Twa means you, first person, second person singular, you, and it's the direct object. So twa means someone is doing something with you. And sadayami means I place. And what's understood is I place within me. So sad, it's related to as or stitihi. So there's a placing. In the Yoga Sutras, we have tada drashtuhu svarupe avasthanam. Avasthanam means situatedness. I am situating you, or I am placing you within me. Twa sadayami, me. And I am placing you, who are all these names, which are different aspects of the light. So this chant, the chanter is speaking directly to the light, whatever the light is, whatever the source of that light is. And bodhayantin twa sadayami means I place within me you who is awakening, who awakens. So it's a verb. Bud means to awaken, sometimes translated as you know. And the Buddha is the one who is awake. Bodhayantim, the one who awakens. And then finally, Jagratin twa sadayami. I place within me you who are awake. So Bodhayantim is the ing, the awakening person, the awakening being, the awakening light. But Jagratim, the one who is awake. And I just wanted to point that out because it's the same meaning as Jagrati in verse 69 of the Bhagavad Gita. Jagarati Sanyami. So anytime we can find the same word, I consider us lucky, because then we don't have to struggle too much with the meaning. Let's take those two last lines. Repeat after me. Bodhayantin twa sadayami. Just that line. Bodhayantin twa sadayami. And then the last line. Jagratin twa sadayami. Jagratin twa sadayami. Let's all chant the entire thing. We'll do call and response each line. Call and response. Om Jyotishmatin twa sadayami. Again. Om Jyotishmatin twa sadayami. Jyotishkritan twa sadayami. Jyotishkritan twa sadayami. Jyotirvidan twa sadayami. Jyotirvidan twa sadayami. Bhasvatin twa sadayami. Bhasvatin twa sadayami. Jvalantin twa sadayami. Jvalantin twa sadayami. Malmalabhavantin twa sadayami. Malmalabhavantin twa sadayami. Dipyamanan twa sadayami. Dipyamanan twa sadayami. Rochamanan twa sadayami. Rochamanan twa sadayami. Ajasran twa sadayami. Ajasran twa sadayami. Brihajyotishan twa sadayami. Brihajyotishan twa sadayami. Bodhayantin tva sadayami. Bodhayantin tva sadayami. Jagratin tva sadayami. Jagratin tva sadayami. Did you find this accessible? But with the repetition and the ending of each line repeating itself.
Yes.
4 lines up from the bottom, aja. Aja is a wonderful word. Ajasran, who is immortal. Aja means immortal because ja means born. Someone or some creature who takes birth. Aja, not born. So whatever has never taken birth, that is immortal. Aja, Ajasram. It's just so wonderful when we see, the roots of so many of these words. Bhasvatim, the 4th from the top, shines. Bhash, say, Bhash. And Jyotihi, Jyotish Kritan, Jyotish, that's a very well-known word in Sanskrit, meaning that which shines on its own. The light. Okay, so yay, we completed the Bhagavad Gita. So next week we'll chant this verse again, and then we'll also remember Patty has kindly let us in on the fact that there's going to be a solstice celebration at 6 p.m. our time, Eastern Daylight Time, United States Eastern Daylight Time. So I'm not sure if that's how doable that is in Australia, but in any way, so if there's anything more you want to say about that, Patty. And I think next week, if you like, we will all chant the Surya Namaskara and the dawning of the inner light again. And also everybody gets to be heard because each one of you is going to select one verse from that chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita and chant it for us. So that's your assignment or your mission should you choose to accept it. So don't all not show up. That would be awful.
Well,
Sandra-
thank you for mentioning Sandra, you have a question?
I didn't hear you, Sandra. I don't know why.
I think you're still muted.
Sorry, I thought I unmuted. What you had just chanted, I didn't get.
Okay, we'll send it to you. Who else did not get it? It's the name of the file is Dawning of the Inner Light when you get it.
It's in the chat. I did
Yeah, I
send it in
didn't
the
get
chat.
that.
There's a file, but I'll email it to you again. There's been something wrong with my email. I don't know what is going on.
And I can as well. I can as well if you want. So either one of us.
I just want to make sure everyone has it. So maybe I should send it out again. Well, we'll have it for next week anyway.
It's funny, we only covered it once in all of the Vedic chant sessions that I did with Sonia and Deborah, and they only did it once and never again. And I almost lost my notes and I'm just so glad I found it because it's one of my very favorite ones.
And it's really, so that will be part of the 108 sun salutations for the winter solstice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and what
then-
we didn't do today, well, I thought it would be fun to chant the entire chapter. Is that of interest to you next week? We'll just chant
As
through
a wrap up,
the chapter,
and-
but no call and response. We'll just chant through it.
maybe we'll do that first before we do our performances so that we can have a little, a
That will
little
be our
cheat
warm up.
before whatever verse we do, make sure we've
Reverse.
got it down.
Do that. So we'll get right to it and we'll chant through the entire chapter and then and then I get to hear your voices. Yay! Well, I guess that's it. I think there was more I
afraid
wanted to say, but I forgot. Oh yeah, and just remember everyone, we will be taking a hiatus. The last Tuesday in December and the first Tuesday in January. So it's the, what is it, the 29th of December and the 5th of January? So I
It's in
thought it
the
was-
email. I did include it in the email, so just double check and mark your
Want to make
calendar.
sure everybody understands that. And if you get lonely, send me an email and maybe we can do something. We can talk on the phone or something. Okay, I think that's enough for now. So closing invocation. Yadaksharapadabrashtam matrahinantu yad bhavet tat sarvam kshamyatam deva narayana namostute Shrimate Narayanaya Namo Namaha Kayena Vacha Manasendriyairva Buddhyatmana Va Prakrite Swabhavat Karomi Yad Sakalam Parasmai Narayana Yeti Samarpayami Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Lisa, have a lovely day, and everybody else have a lovely evening.
Thank you,
Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you,
That was
Leslie.
fun. That
Take
was-
Thanks,
care,
everybody.
Take care. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Before you sign off, would you like to lead us in the invocation next week? Just to hear, so that everybody can hear a different voice, a beautiful voice. But instead of putting you on the spot, I thought I'd ask you a week in advance.
I was like, oh, wow, she's actually asking for.
That would be nice. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, I would love that.
Oh, why, thank you. That's a privilege.
Oh, well, I know it is. It's a privilege. I'm sharing the privileges
Okay,
as best I can.
okay. And we'll also schedule a time this week to coordinate for Monday.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. Boy, Patty,
Rebecca was
Elizabeth and I
not-
have a lot of work to do.
No. Rebecca had a meeting. She couldn't come today, but she and I will talk, and then all four of us will talk.
Okay.
But I know you, I'm not totally familiar with exactly how you did it with Rebecca last year.
I don't
I'm
remember
sure-
either.
Oh, you
Well,
don't remember either. Okay.
actually, I can tell you. And Elizabeth used to do it, but with the Desikachar people. But it sounds like from what Elizabeth described, it's similar. So we start. I think that the leader, like Rebecca, she says we begin or something, or maybe she chants Om, and then I start chanting. Oh no, I think you would do a few sun salutations on your own.
Well, what would happen? So there's 9 sets of 12. So she or I will lead the first 2 sets, depending on whose turn it is to lead that set. So
Right, because you're counting out loud, right?
Well, no. So there's a counter. There's a whole ceremony of the counting. So her daughter's going to do it. It's like, it's actually kind of hard to do the counting because you have to really stay focused on counting. And
That's
you do
right.
one stone in a bowl or a bean in a bowl for each one. And then when all 12 of them are gone, you
Right.
stop, everyone takes a pause and you light a candle. So there's 12 stones that go in the bowl. And then once the bowl is full, then you stop, you light one of the 9 candles and you
Yes.
empty out the bowl and then you start again. I
Yeah.
just wasn't sure how you
I
worked.
just, yeah, that now it's all coming back. Thank you. And so I just can't remember if I think she started by doing the counting, the doing and the counting out loud. I mean, her daughter was doing the silent counting, but the leader doing the asana would do
Well,
one whole series, and I would start chanting.
Yeah, there would be a leading through the first two full Surya Namaskar, the first 2 full ones, she would give verbal cues
Yeah.
through
So we're not
and
chanting
then
yet.
stop.
Yeah. and
Right.
we're not
There
chanting.
won't be any chanting until from the third to the 12th. So it'll be 10
Then we
of the
do-
sets will be chanted along to, and then the first 2 will just be the verbal cueing from the teacher.
Yes, okay, so it's twice through. And then we start chanting, and then Elizabeth and I are probably gonna do, each one of us takes 3 lines, and then we switch over. And then when it's time to stop and you light the candle and we're in our minds, the way we did it, Elizabeth, was they told me to keep on chanting silently. But so I was hearing myself inside. And so by the time we started chanting out loud again, it wasn't where we left off, but it was where we were. So it's like the
Oh.
chanting continues,
Mhm.
but when we sit and light the candle and all that, we're silent, but the chanting's going on in our head.
Okay.
So where you'll hear it, it won't be where you heard it left off. It'll be as it has progressed. I hope that makes some sense.
That makes sense to me.
Mhm.
Um,
But after the candle is lit, then do we go, what I don't remember is
So-
if we went back, does the leader lead through it out loud again? Or
So
we
yeah,
just-
so for each, so there will be 9 sets of 12. So the first set of 12, say Rebecca will do the first set. She'll lead through the first 2 sun salutations, and then it'll be silent. The chanting will happen. We'll stop, light the candle, and then it'll be my turn to lead. I'll lead the first 2 of the second set.
Okay.
Then it'll be silent, then chanting. So it's like for each set, the first 2 you lead them through, and then they kind of, everybody does it together, but you kind of get your sync down with the first 2
Yeah.
rounds, and then you do the next 10. Oh, and there's a bell. The counter rings a bell at the start of the final salutation of the set. So at the start of 12, the counter will ring the singing bowl or whatever they're using, so that
Okay.
this is my last round until we pause and light the candle.
Yeah, okay.
It's so cool. I love the whole ceremony of it. It's really, really cool. And it's just
I do
like
too. I like it too. Yeah.
How
Hmm.
long does it usually take, Patty?
an hour.
And
Just about.
really? Okay.
All right, that's good to know, so we can plan dinner
Yeah.
accordingly.
That's
So 6 in the evening, Monday, okay, 6 to 7, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, it might be a few minutes, we might go a few minutes over.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm amazed that it all gets done in an hour.
I know you get down to a rhythm. I mean,
Mhm.
you just,
Yeah,
it's always taken an hour. I've done it, I've taught it twice, and I've done it being just led by Rebecca, really, like maybe 3 times or 2 times. Something
wow,
like that.
yeah,
But it's an accomplishment.
it is, it is.
It is.
Especially for all of you doing it, God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes I just chant, thinking the reason why I chant is to avoid having to do all that asana work.
I don't blame you. Maybe I should learn the chanting better.
I'm sure it's coming along just fine.
Yeah.
I think everybody has a hard, I think it's like challenging it's definitely challenging for the person counting. It gets very heady when you're counting. You're like, wait, which number am I at? Which number am I at? And then the people doing the asana, it gets very like meditative. And then you have the chanting. It's all so like, oh, I love it. It's wonderful. So glad that you're going to be a part of it.
Yeah, me too. I'm so glad you invited us to take part with you. This is
Ugh.
going to be fun.
So fun. Well, hopefully I get the email list together. I don't know what is going on every time I try. Ever since I did this whole blind copy thing, it's screwed everything up. I'm not doing it anymore.
It sounds to me like people in our group don't mind,
I don't think they mind.
and it might be
No one
nice for
said
them.
anything.
They may want to, communicate among each other anyway. So take out the blind copy if that's
Yeah.
been the root of the problem. Just-
Yeah, that's what's been, I don't know why it's been giving, but ever since I started doing that, and whenever I try to copy all the emails from the previous one and put them in, it like the formatting screws up or something. And even
Yeah.
though it shows I emailed to all these people, like none of them got it. So I don't know.
Yeah. And some of the people who haven't been coming in a long time, we could just delete them. Like Alex Cleveland, I don't know if he's still on it or not. I know how to get in touch with him and he's a friend of mine. I was thinking about him.
Yeah, but people like to get it. So I always say,
Oh,
if you
okay.
want to be removed, I'll remove you. And they know. I'm like, no problem. Just reply to me. I'll take you off. But some people like to still get it
Oh, okay, great.
because
Yay.
maybe they intend to eventually come back, or they just like to see the documents or
Yeah.
have the links or what. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, could be. They're great documents.
they
If I
sure
say so
are
myself.
very valuable. We're on our way to writing your next book, Leslie.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah. Okay, Elizabeth and Patty, you can write it.
Okay. Thanks, Leslie.
Yeah,
I'm just
thank
going to
you.
go into the folder and just hit print on them all and then put a hole puncher and then
Yeah,
You got
there
it.
you go. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I guess we could do that. Yeah, a whole booklet.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whew. All right. Well, have a lovely evening, you two.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there snow yet anywhere? We're waiting. We went
Not yet.
shopping for the snow. And is there snow in Pennsylvania, Elizabeth?
No, it's coming tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Ah, yeah, because on the Weather Channel, it just sort of swirls around. It's like coming from the south, but something from the north, and so you'll probably, I don't know, maybe we're all going to get it at the same time. I don't know.
I know every time I look, it's like more snow. So we'll just have to see, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Stay safe.
Patty, you'll get your wish. There'll be lots of
I
sled.
know. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, I know, a white Christmas. So
I love snow.
Yeah. Let's all take pictures of our houses and things of all the snow.
okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a wonderful
All right.
evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Patty.
Say hi to the kitties and say hello to Lola and your kitty. I forgot your
know.
name, the kitty's name,
Oh,
Patty.
Pussy Willow.
Pussy Willow. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's a great name.
And Moki and Molly and
Mimi.
Mimi. Yeah, those are Elizabeth's cats.
Yeah, the great M's.
Just go, and they all come running.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Much love, you guys. Thank you so much. Mwah.
Thank you.
And
Bye.
we'll see you on Monday. Yay.
Yeah. Before, so we can talk it through. But yeah,
Right.
I'll be in touch.
Patty, you're the greatest. You are a super lady. Thank you.
I feel bad that it's all been screwed up with the email, but I'll
Never
sort it out.
mind. It's all fine. It's all fine.
All right.
If-
Thank
if
you,
they're
Leslie.
if they're missing a handout, they can ask you or me and we can send it to them. So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, most of the things they have already. So
okay. Have a great
you too.
Say hi to
Bye.
Minnie.
I will. She wanted to say hi before, but you were Elizabeth and you were both talking, and I didn't want to.
Oh,
Want me to-
okay. Yeah, and
Okay.
earlier I noticed I saw Lola pawing you. So
She's
sweet.
She's trying to sit in my lap. She's putting her paw on my shoulder.
Yeah, she likes the chanting.
She does. She does. Oh, all right.
Animals love chanting.
They
Okay.
do.
Have a good
All
evening.
right.
Lots
You
of
too.
love.
I'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
you.
Bye.